at 11, a historic healthcare strike approaching 1 month. But tonight, first signs of real progress. Plus, an abduction arrest in Salem caught on camera. We hear from a couple who saw it all up close.
Felt like we were in the middle of a movie.
And later, we sit down with a former journalist who's chronicling the murder case of a police chief that rocked a small Oregon community.
And they all disagree on how the case was handled.
We're going to start things off tonight by taking a look at weather. We saw some light and scattered snow flurries here in the metro, but higher up we saw steady snowfall, like on Highway 26 west of Government Camp, where they have seen close to a half foot of snow so far today. The highway was briefly shut down in both directions near Elsie, with firefighters saying the road there is solid ice, with conditions only getting worse. The LC Vine Maple Rural Fire Protection District asking people to stay home if at all possible. Thanks so much for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. With me, meteorologist Joe Ranieri. And Joe, some areas already seeing that snow and ice. What can we expect for tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the weather impact alert is going to be throughout the Coast Range and the Oregon Cascades. We cancel it in the metro area because we really didn't see much today, and we're not going to be seeing much tomorrow. If you're 500 feet and higher, you'll see a little bit, but that is all we're looking at for tomorrow, Monday morning. So the valley is going to be a mix of rain and snow, all elevation dependent. Again, closer to the 1,000-foot level, you could see some light accumulation. Looking into the heavy snow showers tonight and into tomorrow will be throughout the Coast Range and the Cascade Range, and there is some watches and warnings as low as the northern part of the beaches. So here's a look what you need to know if you're going to be traveling tonight and tomorrow. Above 2,000 feet to overnight, 2 to 5 inches possible. 1,000 feet, 1 to 3 inches. Again, 500 feet to 1,000, you can look about 1 to 2 inches or so. That location, I'm thinking through parts of Southwest Washington, your battleground, and even into Yamhill County near Chehalem Mountain. But 500 feet and lower, it's not going to be sticking. You'll be seeing some pockets of rain and snow, and it's going to look pretty, and that is about it. So as we look at the satellite and radar, we're looking at mainly dry conditions right now. This is that cold front that's going to be pouring in from BC and the Gulf of Alaska, dropping snow levels the entire week down to 500 feet, if not lower. You can kind of see over downtown Portland. We saw a little bit of some light snow showers earlier today, but right now, we're looking at dry conditions, and overnight lows are going to be just above freezing. So if we see any cold downpours, it's not going to be falling as snow. It's going to be really kind of maybe some that chunky rain, maybe a little bit of some snow showers mixed in. The watches and warnings, that white color winter weather advisory in place throughout the Cascades until tomorrow at 10. Meanwhile, winter storm warning in place throughout the Coast Range until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's going to be an absolute mess traveling over the mountain passes, especially over the Coast Range here the next 12 hours or so. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast and what I'm looking at over the next couple of days. That's coming up in about 10 minutes from now.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you then. Signs of progress as the Oregon Nurses Association strike against Providence Medical Group approaches 4 weeks. Both sides announced today 2 of the union's 11 bargaining units have reached tentative agreements. This affects about 80 total caregivers at the Providence Women's Clinic. The union members still have to vote to ratify the contract. That's scheduled to start tomorrow. Again, there are still 9 other units currently in federal mediation with Providence. We'll keep you posted with any developments. Well, let's get right to your national headlines tonight. As Republicans come to President Donald Trump's defense over the imposition of tariffs on Mexican, Canadian, and Chinese goods, each country is retaliating. Canada matched the U.S.'s 25% tariff rate, with Mexico following suit. China says it's going to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization and take countermeasures of its own. A somber gathering in Washington, D.C. today. Dozens of loved ones of the 67 victims of the Potomac plane crash attended a memorial service at the river's edge. Tonight, officials laid out a plan to salvage the aircraft wreckage with a massive crane in position on the river. NTSB officials now say the airplane crew heard directions to the chopper to pass behind them and tried to pull up at the last second. Democratic lawmakers are demanding answers from the Treasury Secretary after personnel affiliated with Elon Musk were reportedly given access to sensitive Treasury data. The Associated Press reported that includes Social Security and Medicare customer payment systems. Senator Ron Wyden on Friday said any politically motivated meddling in these systems risks severe damage to our country and the economy. And today, Senator Maria Cantwell said Congress needs an explanation as to why they needed access, as this threatens the privacy and funds owed to every American taxpayer.
Felt like we were in the middle of a movie because there were drones overhead. There was a German Shepherd dog working, and it was like, is this real?
A scary incident in a Salem neighborhood as police chased after a man who allegedly abducted a woman and her young child. The man's arrest was caught on camera. Police say the suspect, Javier Munoz, entered the victim's home at gunpoint around 3 Saturday morning. He kept them there for about 12 hours until they left after he threatened her. Police said Munoz was the woman's estranged boyfriend. A caller reported seeing a man and a woman struggle over a child near Northeast Hawthorne and Monroe. Officers confirmed it was Munoz, reportedly with a handgun, after which he ran into Gear Park. Officers combed through the park, finding Munoz and the child under an RV nearby. Now, we spoke to the couple who filmed Munoz's arrest after spotting him outside their home.
He was walking really fast and holding a toddler, and then he goes on the other side of our back fence, goes clear down the length of that, jumps over a fence, and I thought, this looks really suspicious.
Munoz was arrested on multiple charges, including first-degree kidnapping, and booked into the Polk County Jail. The child was returned unhurt to its mother. And an update today on a street takeover last night in Salem. Police say it started as a demonstration against national immigration enforcement efforts involving hundreds of people. It started around noon at Lancaster Drive and Market Street. It was relatively peaceful until after 2, when callers reported people throwing objects and hitting cars. By 8:30, the intersection was overtaken by multiple dangerous drivers, prompting police to shut down traffic. Salem police arrested 5 people on reckless driving and disorderly conduct charges, with one person also charged with unlawful possession of a firearm. The street closure was lifted at around 11. There were no reported injuries.
I remember being in my newsroom, and I was hearing the scanner just go crazy. And I walked by the news director's desk, and she said, "Sounds like we have a cop shot."
It's been 14 years since Rainier Police Chief Ralph Painter was killed in the line of duty. It took 8 years for the man who killed him, Daniel Butts, to be sentenced to prison. Former KXL journalist Rosemary Reynolds reported on the story throughout the lengthy court process. Reynolds has now released a book on the saga. We sat down with her and Painter's brother to look back at the story that rocked the small Oregon community.
The event was so heartbreaking and horrific.
On January 5th, 2011, Rainier Police Chief Ralph Painter was killed with his own gun while trying to stop a man from stealing a car from the parking lot of a local stereo shop. That man was 21-year-old Daniel Butts. Alan Painter remembers it like it was yesterday.
You always know that day's possible. I mean, that call could come anytime. But Rainier's a small town. Stuff like that just doesn't happen in Rainier.
Former KXL reporter Rosemary Reynolds began traveling to Columbia County to cover the story. It wasn't long before she realized this case would be full of twists and turns.
I decided I was keeping everything. Every interview that I did, every article that I saw, just everything.
Attempts to convict Butts turned into a long series of hearings and examinations about the state of his mental health the day of the shooting, as Butts refused to cooperate with his own lawyers and the legal system. Reynolds said a vicious cycle began, with Butts cycling between court, jail, and the state hospital. Reynolds became acquainted with Alan Painter and the rest of the Painter family during the many hearings that were held between 2011 and 2019. That's when the idea came about to write a book about the family's fight for justice.
One day, Alan and I were in court, and he said, you know, this might make a good book. And I said, yeah, it might.
Now, all of these years later, Reynolds has finished Trapped in the System, which goes into great detail about the case, one that experts still have mixed opinions on.
One of the chapters in the book is called Bright Minds Agree to Disagree. And I just spoke with the most intelligent people, law background, and they all disagree on how the case was handled.
It also touches on Chief Painter's life and why he wanted to be in law enforcement.
As you'll hear from a lot of police, firemen, doctors, they feel that calling early on in their life, and I think Ralph felt that too.
The Painter family finally received justice in March of 2019 as the two parties agreed to a plea deal that would send Butts to prison for 48 years. He would spend 2 more years in the state hospital before being transferred to prison in 2021. A portion of the proceeds from the book will be given to the Painter family. They plan to donate it back to the Columbia County community and local law enforcement, just like Ralph would have wanted.
Could we do something to help some of the local agencies do something to make it better for their officers? That's what I'd like to see. Safer, better, and for them to go home at night.